What's up, everybody? Mel here, and this is the second video for uh, Vale Craftworks. So, how y'all doing today? Today, we're going to discuss the build that I showed you a little bit of in the first video. So, in order to do that, I just want to show you the finished product. See, it's the front of the house. This is the side with the window. Let me show you how I made that. Back. And the chimney portion. There are a number of different techniques I used to create this, and I'm going to discuss them now. So first of all, let's talk about the materials. Now, when I made this, and there will be no crafting portion of this, there was still have to work out a couple of minor kinks, but basically, let's talk about the materials used. So for this project, if you're going to follow along, or you're going to try to make something like this, you don't need a lot. This is simple corrugated cardboard that I got off of an Amazon box. This, which is a piece of foam that I used, this is literally just packing foam. So it's you could see it's the bubble end like this, that you get the normal bubble foam, and I used a combination of a hot wire cutter, but you don't need to use a hot wire cutter for this. You could literally just use a really sharp, like an Olfa knife or a box cutter, and just cut like halfway down, then a little bit further, and then a little bit further as you go along to get a nice smooth cut. Don't go fast. You just want it, and it has to be very sharp. So just keep that in mind to get a good clean cut with this. And really, this is just really essentially just cereal box material. This just happens to be a piece that I got out of, this is what I used to make the entire roof, the shingles system. And that is the basics as far as the base materials, or I would say the framework goes. Now, along the sides, I did use popsicle sticks. In retrospect, I would probably just pick a choice of either these or some of these wood stirrers for coffee that you could get. This was like $3 on Amazon, and you get like 1,000 of them. So these are supremely useful. It's worth the investment. And again, this was another this here was like another $3. There's more of these I have in my other box, but this was like 500. So I mean, you get a lot, and you're not going to go through these, like burn through them right away. So just keep that in mind. And really, all I did was take a basic ruler. So you just need a ruler with both centimeters and inches on it, and I just cut. I measured 3 inches, which is good for your most tabletop games. As far as height goes for the base floor, and then another, bring it up to an angle at the top, and then you just cut what you want for that and decide. I went 5 inches for just the straight. So like 5 inches for this, 3 inches for that, and then these are 3 inches high, and then just bring it up at an angle as you would like it. Now, just to show you how I created, so what I did is I've created some templates using the corrugated cardboard, um, with some measurements on it, so you could see this is 3 by 4, and then I have measured out where I would want a window to be in this. You don't have to do this for that, but what I did find was useful was measuring out what I would use for most windows of this scale, and then cutting out a template. Same thing I did. So if I wanted a rectangular door template, or if I wanted something a little bit fancier, like I have one with an arch, there's one for that. And then now these may look like basic triangles, but if you wanted to put on a dormer to your roof, what you do is basically just use two of these. You set them up on the roof. You just hot glue them down, and a little bit of extra material just to create the roof line. However you wanted to have it, you could either triangle it in, or you could have a flat addition on. However you wanted to build it, and you would have that as your dormer, and you could add in a little window, or however you wanted to design it. I mean, really, that's up to your imagination. Couple of things Now on mine, I did use a plaster mix. I'm gonna call it just, it's just basically a modeling mix of plaster. So basically, you would just normally take plaster and water, and it goes at a 2-to-1 ratio for the particular plaster that I used. Uh, two, let's call them 2 teaspoons of plaster to 1 teaspoon of water to get the ideal weight, the ratio that I wanted for the mix. But I also added in some just basic PVA glue, just to that to make it adhere better and to make sure that some of the other parts that I wanted would adhere to it. Also to just give it a little bit more strength on the, to cling to the model. And there's one other material I am forgetting, and that is literally just because I don't have one at the moment next to me, and that is a styrofoam plate. So basically, that is my. So what we did, and I'll talk to you about this. So I took one of these, cut it out, and then I measured the styrofoam right under this, and then all I did was I hot glued the styrofoam to this and used the styrofoam as my outside. Now that styrofoam, this again. So bottom here, you will see here. This I cheated. I drew these bricks into the styrofoam, just painted them. Now I will have a much better quality picture up on this on my Instagram when we get that set up. And basically, all I did is drew the texture in, drew the lines in. I did the same thing for the the bricks that I used to surround the door. Now, again, this door I built out of the coffee stirs and just a little bit of a toothpick that I cut off and used as the handle. May change the color on that. I'm not decided yet. To paint this was just really not that much. I used acrylic paints, a combination of stuff from Games Workshop, and a few different, mainly just GW paints, but you could use really any craft acrylic paint that you want to for this. And I just did that the way I wanted. Now again, um, I use that for the plaster because this is just got a coating of plaster. Now I want to talk to you for a minute about the plaster because the plaster is a little bit rough on this, and again, this is not perfect. But this, if I was doing a game, if I was running a D&D game, or really any sort of tabletop role playing game, this would be fine for what if I was going to have a little bit of a village set up, this would be one of those buildings that I would put in. I do have the shed that would go along with this, certain things that you could easily add on. And again, if you're going to start, this is just to show again, you see here, there's nothing, no great like level of, just a little hot glue, some cardboard, that'll get your basic structure. You don't even really need to use the foam on here or the styrofoam. You could just use cardboard if you want. I go with the foam just because I wanted to add a little bit more of texture and a little bit more of structure to this. But really, that's it. Nothing really, you know, mind breaking. Just takes a little bit of time, patience. What I would do at the end of the night, and I didn't put it together inside of, I didn't rush to put it together. I put it together over a period of 2 weeks. Really, realistically, if I sat down and just did it from start to finish, the whole project at total would take about 8 hours to do. Again, that is factoring in some drying time for the plaster. I did let the plaster cure. But if you don't use the plaster, you don't have to. I put the chimney on because I just wanted to see if I could to do something different. But if you don't go with plaster, which you don't need to, and in retrospect, I probably wouldn't have uh, the way I did it. So, because I had put the structure together first. If I was going to do the plaster again, I would probably I would lay out the cardboard, I would lay out a thin piece. Now, for this, I like to use the styrofoam plate because it's very thin. If you were working with a thicker styrofoam board, I would probably, an EVA board. You wouldn't really need to use the cardboard back. I just use a cardboard back to give it a little bit of extra support. Um, at that point, really, what I did is uh, I put that on like almost like a veneer, and this way that would give me something to put the plaster on. I wanted to try the plaster, see how that worked. But what I would do in this, like if I was going to do that again, I would probably do the styrofoam and then put a thin layer of plaster on it, and then do all the woodwork out of a uniform thing, which I would probably use just this, just these four. I like the way these go on. They take the, the washes and the stains very well. Again, you could use an like a just a standard, wash from, or you could make your own wash. There are plenty of formulas out there. I don't have the a good recipe yet of my own, but you could find them on channels like Black Magic Craft and such. Um, but what I would do is I would do that. You want to go with something probably a little bit more uniform for your own building, but there's no right or wrong way to do that. That's just fine. This here, this here is just fine for my purposes, and it will serve me well for many years to come. And I'm really proud of this. I really like how it came out. Would I change some things about it? Yeah, if I was gonna. Now, again, this was a step up. This is the second one I made. This was the second piece I made from scratch like this. Now, I liked what I did with the window. I would probably make the window a little bit smaller. I would probably add a window or two to the front of this here. And I would probably, that's really probably the only changes I would make to this particular building. But for what I want to use this for the display purposes, I like it. Now, would there be other things I'd like to add on to this? Yeah, you could add, depending upon what you were going to do, you could always add like a little lantern out front, and you could use anything you really want. Remember, your mind is your own, creator. So go to what you want. You can get like a small little lantern to hang out front, depending upon the time period you wanted to go with. You could turn this into like an inn. You could change it up. You could change the roof line. You could have a flat or a sloped roof line, depending upon what you wanted to do. And really, with that, at that point, you could add in really just anything you wanted to. This could be these bricks could be red. I find if you're just starting out, and this I've seen on multiple, crafting channels, I find that using a foam doesn't matter if you're using it just a thick foam and that and or you're doing what I did and gluing the cardboard and the foam together. I find that if you're gonna get started, just to get started, you can just draw on the bricks as you would like to, and then just kind of stagger them the way I have them here, just to give them that look, and it makes it easier for that. You can also, what I did is I hit this with a little bit of sandpaper just to give it a little bit more of a roughed up look. You could do a piece of tin foil rolled up into a ball and just give that a little bit of, roll that over this to give it a little bit of texture. But really, you can also you can also press these in if you're using more of a foam, like a thicker foam, and you can create some different leveling textures as well. And really, just the sky's the limit. Be as creative as you want with your building, and you'll have something that you can use for really any. I mean, this is good for dioramas. This is good if you want to, you know, just build something for, like, even hey, if I wanted to do something like this for a holiday display for a diorama, I could do that. You could, depending upon what you do on the inside, you could print out like something to go on the internal walls if you wanted to do a lighting, like if you have a lot of windows like this. And this really is just, you can just get a piece of plastic, really simple. You can get like sheet plastic at Staples, cut it to your desire, glue it on the inside, glue the frame on the outside. You're done, you have a window. These here look like wood. They're not, they're foam. Again, styrofoam plate. I drew on the wood grain and then I just painted it to match the wood, actual the different wood beams on the outside. That's, again, you can see here, this is really where it made a difference. I would have preferred to go with this all the way down, but again, second project, we'll get there as I refine the process. Now I've figured out what I want to do and how I would change things going forward. I know under here you can see again, if you look at this too close, I will paint under here probably, and just to finish that off. For the most part, yeah, this is all finished. The roof now, I did do. This is three different coats. So the first was a base coat of gray. Then on top of that, I did a black wash. And then on top of that, I did a sepia wash over that to kind of give it that rusted look. It just gives it that weathered look. It looks like it's been out there. You have some different areas uh, where you would have it does flow a little bit, so you could see on a thing how it flows into different. You have the different colors, different colorations. How the water would actually, the liquid would flow because liquid, does flow. So it's pretty much got a pretty natural look over it. I like it. Came out the way I wanted it to. You could probably, if you're going to simulate, you would probably have like maybe do a little bit of a black wash towards the top just to simulate some soot. Again, be creative. Do what you make it how you want. Turn this into whatever you want. I can give. I will show you certainly as I get some more. I'm going to create a template for these, and I will put that online um, eventually. But I will put the templates that I have up. Certainly, I can get those up, and we'll get them up. But I have to get kind of like a place that I want to keep everything. That's probably going to be on Discord. We will have a separate Discord for this channel, so it's going forward. But this again. I'd say a solid 8-hour project. If you're looking for something fun to do, really, again, all you need, like I said, and let's just go keep it as simple as possible. Forget the really, if you want to do a chimney, this is the way to go. I really think easy to work with, easy to cut, and you can sculpt it to whatever. You don't need to have a wider. I again, however you want to do it, that's fine. But again, just some basic cardboard, some thin cardboard, and you're good to go with just these. If you want to add in some other features on this, remember this is easy to get. You probably have this in your house. You probably have all three of these pieces of material in your house. If you want to add some details on it, remember you don't have to go out and buy these. You could just literally go to your coffee shop or bagel shop or whatever's near you. Grab these, when you get a cup of coffee. You know what? Easy to get. You probably have popsicles at home. It's a good way to get them. Is just a fun way to get them is probably just to have dessert one night. Popsicle stick. There you go. Don't throw them out. Recycle them. Use them. And yeah, like I said, that's the easy way to do these things. Nothing more than a couple of, if you have a scissor or just like a basic, hobby knife or work knife that's real sharp, you can use that to cut. And really, if you're concerned about, well, I don't have a hot glue gun, hobbies, like, really, you could get a hot glue gun at your local pharmacy, probably even CVS or whatever. They're not expensive, less than $10 for a glue gun and the sticks. But you can even, if you don't have that and you want it, you can internally just work with tape and a little bit of Elmer's glue. And really, all I did was you could literally just tape on the inside or the outside, however you want to do it. And make the structure, and then just put a little bit of glue on there, regular glue, and just put that just tape. Use the tape to kind of give it a little bit of reinforcement while the glue dries, and you're good to go. I mean, this is basically so easy to get started with. Again, if it doesn't come out exactly perfect, you're not investing a ton of money into something that you're going to be like, oh, this was a waste of money. It's never a waste to get into something, to try something new, try a craft, and if it's something that's gonna help you out in your games, like, or just something for fun for you to do. It's we're all inside, I think, a lot more these days, and it's just something neat to try. It's always good to try to expand your horizons in terms of creativity. This is now I keep this, just by the way. I keep a box of spare parts that I've now started to keep. Uh, that just has all of these and everything in it. And it just really sits next to my box of my emergency box of spare parts. But it gives me ideas, and it's got my templates in there. Again, nothing here is really inaccessible. And that's the goal of this channel, is to kind of show you that this is all accessible. I am not a master builder. I never worked in construction or anything else. I'm just a dude that likes to build things with his hands. And that's all. I like to paint models. We're going to do some of that. So, just kind of I want to thank you all for coming up today and checking us out. Hope you enjoy the video. And if you do, leave a like. It will help the channel grow. And, if you like what I do here and you want to see more, hit that subscribe button. Again, subscribing is free. I don't have a Patreon or anything else. So, you know, just like and subscribe. And once again, I want to thank you for stopping by. And I hope you all have a great day now and a good weekend. Remember, stay safe out there. It's a little bit crazy right now. And I'll see you soon. Thanks again. Mel out.